And we are live with episode 3 of Call to the Pen, brought to you by Over Sports, coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin. I am your host, Will Massa. To my right, Jake Sawinski. As always, how are we doing today? I know it's draft day, but we're talking about baseball today.
Yeah, of course. I'm doing okay. Are you okay? Did you just say over sports? Did you miss the
Did
or
I?
did you
No, I'm
skip?
pretty
I
sure I
don't
got it.
know. That was kind of funny.
Overdue? Should be overdue.
Yeah, well, my brain's
The-
overdue for anything. But no, I was just busting balls. I'm doing all right. Um, you heard my frustrations with work and good old Microsoft Excel, but otherwise, we're doing all right. We're doing all right.
We're nearly 30 games into the MLB season. We put out a blog of some overreactions. Overreactions are starting to settle a little bit. I feel like most of what we said are pretty true outside of my Mets take, which we'll get to as we go through. We're just going to run through each division, teams, players that are surprises, disappointments, disappointments, and anything else we come up with. So we're going to kick off in the National League West. We have the Dodgers at the top. I'm not going to go super deep on the Dodgers because we kind of know what they are. To me, they've actually been kind of disappointing as a unit, 15 and 11. You would expect more from that roster. Obviously, like you have some pitchers that are hurt in the offense outside of, the Murderers Row 4 has been pretty
Okay, that's not fair.
mediocre.
They're not that good.
I disagree.
Well, I mean, athletically, of course they are, because I mean, the Murderers Row is 1930s drunkards, but yeah, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but like they've gotten no production out of like Gavin Lux, James Outman. They
Chris
just brought up
Taylor,
Andy
yeah, like
Pages.
those
Chris
guys
Taylor
are
is
bad,
putrid right now.
really bad.
It's really the bullpen that's not that good, but that team's built for 162. So, I mean, I don't have a ton to say. I think they're just going to command the division all season.
No, I'd agree with you too. Like you're a Dodgers fan, so it's a lot easier for you to kind of, contextualize what you're saying. But it just me kind of they just seem super inconsistent, right? It's like we kind of joked about it the other day when we did our weekly recap. They love losing to the Nats or struggling with the Nats. Why, I don't know, but they do. But aside from that, it just seems like they are pitching well and they can't hit. And then they're hitting well and they can't pitch. And it's like, well, that's a common problem, sure, but like they shouldn't be having that problem is the point.
Yeah.
It just seems like they're really struggling to put that together. And then I don't think that's a roster issue. That's just a time together kind of, they'll figure that stuff out.
Yeah. In second place, we have the Padres at 14 and 13, about to be 15 and 13 as they're beating up on the old Rockies in Coors Field today. They have been kind of surprising to me. The biggest piece, Michael King, has been like outstanding for them in the rotation.
Good.
He looks really, really good. I'm not a big Joe Musgrove guy. I think he's starting to enter like the washed conversation. But he's been better out after his first couple of starts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that I had fourth in the division. So as of right now, that division is really tight, 2 through 3 or 2 through 4. Between the Padres, D-backs, and Giants right now.
A little mid right now, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, to me, they have all the money, they have all the talent, but it's not – they always underperform.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. It's like, well, based on what after like the way the last couple of seasons have ended, not so much result wise, but like the pieces they've lost to their roster, which were enormous, especially like Soto and Josh Hader, guys like them. You kind of would expect a little bit of a dip. And like to me, they're kind of just playing what they do, like expectations aside, it seems like they're doing what they're supposed to. Like they're always a middle of the road team, even when like they have been good the last couple of seasons. Like, did you really expect them to go anywhere outside of the fans? I mean, when they acquired Hader at the deadline, that wasn't last year, but the year before, that's kind of when like the expectations I feel like started for them. But like they were pretty disappointing, and I feel like people wrote them off. Maybe I'm like way off base there, but like I wasn't expecting a ton out of them last year, even with keeping everybody there. They just kind of like the Dodgers. It just doesn't seem like they ever put anything together, but most of the time it's the hitting. And they have a lot of really talented hitters and they still don't manage to score. And I know they don't play at a pitcher friendly or a hitter friendly park most of the time, but like there's no excuse for those guys to like, have games like like a lot of games with 3 runs, especially who they're playing in that division a lot of the time. I
Yeah.
mean, the D-backs were kind of a miracle story last year. Like we're going to get to them in a second, and like they've been pretty bad on the pitching front, especially. I feel like they've had no problem scoring runs, and they play the Rockies a lot, and like they just should be scoring like with the guys they have, and the starting pitching should be good. And for the most part, I feel like it has been. But like their bullpen's been pretty bad, minus a key piece here or there. But I don't believe that's really changed much either. But like for me, it's just kind of like business as usual for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Diamondbacks, like you just mentioned, kind of a miracle story last year. I think the expectations for them were too much coming into this year. Like
Mm-hmm.
last year, there was like no expectations with them, right? You had Corbin Carroll
Yeah,
as a rookie. You had a
playing
lot of
loose.
these guys that were like breaking out, like Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, and they're a couple games under 500. I mean, even coming into the season, I still had them pinned at like 84, 85 wins. Like I still don't think that they're quite there yet. And I think this year is already starting to show that. I still really like the roster makeup. Like, don't get me wrong. I still think they're
Oh
going to be in the
yeah,
hunt all season.
young
They're probably a
talent.
playoff team.
Yeah, young talent for sure.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't know. They're another team so far that's been really inconsistent.
Mhm.
I mean, I like Zach Allen and Merrill Kelly seem to be taking a step
Yeah,
back.
that bullpen's bad. Like
The
bad,
bullpen
bad,
is
very
really
bad.
bad. We
Maybe
saw it in
not
the
raw.
Cardinal series the whole time in
No,
the Cardinal series.
maybe not like roster wise, like, but just the way they've been playing has been quite poor. And like, I'm not gonna hold that Cardinals series against them, even though that's like a glaring example of it. Like the Cardinals were due to break out; they were playing
Yeah.
so poorly. And I mean, but then like they lost 2-3, and then like the D-backs put 14 runs up on the Cardinals in game 2. Like it's just putting it all together, and it's going to be a recurring theme with a lot of these teams, just kind of putting it all together. Um I thought, like you said, you say 84 wins you had them at. Like I
Yeah,
thought
like
that was
84, 85.
yeah, I thought that was a fair number. Like I think they would still be competitive, but like I feel like there would have been a little bit of a hangover too. Like I just feel like they weren't like all the way ready to be in the World Series, and then all of a sudden here they are. And I feel like they didn't really make their roster a ton better, like in the offseason. Like adding Paul Sewald last year for them was huge,
Yeah.
but like, are you really going to get much from Eugenio Suarez or guys like that? I don't know. The one thing I will say, who has been awesome to start, is Ketel Marte. He has been
He's
fantastic.
a stud.
Like, I mean, Corbin Carroll's been. I feel like he's been pretty good too. I should go get my phone that way I can like look at any like numbers based stuff. I'll go do that in a second. But Ketel Marte has been like the best hitter in their lineup. Like truthfully, I don't think there's been one better. Like he's like hitting home runs too, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean he's OPSing 917 right now. He's in
Mhm.
the top 20 of baseball
At
in
least,
OPS.
yeah.
He's number 18 and
Yeah.
he's not striking out a ton. Um, he's really coming into his own. Like the power numbers are good. He's got a good chunk of extra base hits. He's got a good chunk of RBIs. Like he's been good. Like he's been really, really good. And I think that's going to continue throughout the season.
Yeah.
I felt like his name seems to fly under the radar a lot. He's one of, if not the best second baseman in the league, depending on like where you qualify certain guys positionally.
Like
He's
defense
certainly in
you're
the
talking or offense?
just player in general, both
Okay.
across
Yeah,
the board.
that's fair.
Probably in the top 3 of second baseman in my book, anyways. Like you said, I think the pitching is going to be the issue with this team, especially once it comes into crunch time. Once we get into playoffs, if they're a
Yeah.
wild card team, I don't know yet, but at, I don't know. Right now it's kind of all over the place. And I feel like you're right. Like the slow start is probably anticipate a little bit of hangover going.
Mm-hmm. But it's like they have multiple red flags. You know what I mean? Like if they made like drastic changes last year, like the Dodgers, well, they didn't quite make it. They made one drastic change for the most part, right? You added Shohei Ohtani. But if they had, a bunch of new names and new faces coming into town, that would kind of be one thing. But it's pretty much the same team,
Yeah.
and it's like it's hard to expect a ton of different performances from guys who are kind of playing the way they should, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Zach Allen's awesome. Merrill Kelly's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's awesome. But like he struggled on and off a little bit last year too. So I mean, those are your two really solid starting options. Like Brandon Pfaadt's been like better, but like outside of that, who they have? Tommy Henry. That guy's not very good. He's a
No,
bullpen guy.
he gives up a ton of hard contact.
Yeah,
Like it's
and he was a
really,
bullpen guy
really
in their
hard.
run. Like he was a solid
Yeah.
bullpen piece for them last year. But like, you need to be able to pitch. Like, they have no problem hitting. Like they need to be able to pitch. That's their
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah, and even a guy like Christian Walker had a career year last year. Like he hit the shit out of the ball last year.
Yeah.
And to expect that again, like I think he's closer to what he performed last year than what he had in his career, but he's not as good as what he put up last year consistently.
No, and like it could be a slow start thing too, for
Yeah.
sure. But like we're getting to the point where it's like, okay, maybe he's just not going to have a good year. You know what I mean? I feel like that first 4 to 6 weeks is like the mid-May is probably like when you're like, okay, he's not going to have a good season this year. He's just not playing well. Like I like to be like at least May until I start thinking that. But there's a lot of guys struggling, so it's like, is that indicative of everybody having a slow start, or is it just that's the way they're going to be this year? I'm not really sure yet. So I wouldn't write him off yet, but
Yeah.
definitely not the start you wanted for a couple of their key hitters. But for the most part, the slack is being pulled. It's just you got to be able to pitch.
Yeah, and speaking of another really struggling bullpen, the Giants. I mean, outside of Camilo Duvall, like that bullpen is pretty terrible.
This team is struggling.
It is. Yeah. To be honest, I think if they're in the hunt at the deadline, they need to trade Blake Snell and add some hitters. Like I don't think Blake Snell is a make or break piece for them. Like if they can be in the hunt by the deadline, he's on a 1-year deal anyways. If he has a good season, he's not staying there. And so if they're in the hunt at the deadline, they should look to trade him and get a good return package. I mean, Michael Conforto is like their best hitter right now.
Yeah, and he's hitting like
which is
under 300, which is crazy. Like last weekend, a buddy and I were talking about it. We're like, Michael Conforto's like their best hitter right now, and like he's had a couple of good seasons, but he's like a career 240 hitter.
He's a very solid role player. He's not the guy that you should be leaning
he should
on
be
in your
batting
offense.
third or fourth on your team. He's like a
Yeah.
7-8 hitter in most other teams. Yeah, that's insane. But I'm trying to find the Giants. Just trying to look at a box score so I can see the lineup. When did they play yesterday afternoon? But yeah, that's kind of been the Giants' MO for quite some time now, right? Like they just can't hit. You know, it's like they're polar opposites of the D-backs, right? Where they just struggle to score runs. Like I feel like Slater and Wilmer Flores and Jorge Soler and Conforto is just like a carousel of who's going to have one hit that day. You know what I mean? It's like 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 3 with a walk, and then 1 for 4 with a double and an RBI, and we lose 2-4. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even, I mean, Matt Chapman's been one of their better hitters, but it's not the Matt Chapman of 2019. Like he's getting older now, and that they're just same thing. Like that team can go out on any given day and get blanked by a lot of pitchers in the league.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with Jorge Soler too. Like, I mean, you're not expecting Soler to hit 320 or anything like that and have 120 RBI, but like you're expecting him to hit some home runs, and like I mean, what's he got right now? 4, batting 228. It could be a slow start thing again, but he's only got 6 RBI. That's the problem. It's like,
He's also coming off of a career year in home runs.
yeah, for sure. And like he was on the Cubs for a little while, and
Yeah.
guy's a World Series MVP. I mean, he can definitely play. It's just you're batting in the middle of that lineup. You got to be able to put some runs on the board. You know, you're batting cleanup. You have 6 runs batted in and 30 games in.
Yeah.
I mean, the
For a
RBI is
guy
not
that,
all you, but like you're telling me you have 6 in a month.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the rotation, Jordan Hicks has actually been like surprisingly really good.
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
loved what I've seen out of him. He's been awesome. Logan Webb is like
He's
almost
Logan
as
Webb.
consistent as it comes. He's Logan
Yeah.
Webb. But then the rest of the rotation is like you're piecing it together
Piecemeal.
with, yeah, like you're just piecing it together with certain guys. You're piecing it together with like Kyle Harrison and Keaton Wynn. And it's like those guys aren't proven. There's no
Yeah.
longevity between those guys. Obviously, you have Blake Snell, but he's still kind of in spring training mode, and he just went on
Yeah.
the IL,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
he's going to be
I
out for
feel
more, which you
good.
had to have seen coming.
Yeah. I feel like they have a lot of Sean Manaea guys, right? It's like he's on the Mets now. He's not on the team anymore, but like he was really bad, but then once in a while he'd be really good. I feel
Yeah,
like they just have Webb, Hicks, and 3 openers that you hope go as long as they can if things don't get out of control and then the bullpen will take over. That's kind of been like that's kind of my impression of it. It's just like they don't have like through the pen or not through the pen through the week starting pitching. Like they've got 2
yeah,
guys that they can count on, and then who's going to show up that day, I guess. But I mean, pitching problems aside, they definitely have some pitching issues, and we can dissect every team like that. But I think the glaring thing with these guys is the hitting. Like they can't hit right now,
yeah.
and I think it's them winning 12 games is like crazy. I bet you like half of their wins have like 4 runs, maybe.
They do. That's really. I mean, they win ugly games. Like
Yeah,
they do. Like
yeah, 2
when
to
you like,
1 scored in the
in that,
first.
I mean, look at the Marlins series 4-3, 6-3, 3-1. Like against like every win, every if they win, it's like a 5-3 game. It's a 4-2
Yeah,
game.
they're not blowing teams out.
No.
And if they lose, they score 1 run.
Yeah. A lot of their losses have a little 1 next to them.
Mm-hmm.
Rounding out the NL West,
Do
the
we have to?
Rockies, putrid.
They're so bad.
It's crazy because I've watched a couple of Rockies games this year, and the lineup without Chris Bryant is not that bad. Outside of 7-8-9, the 7-8-9 hitter is like a revolving door of garbage. But like Elias Diaz isn't that bad. Like Nolan Jones will come around eventually.
I
Ryan
don't know.
McMahon is
I don't know if he's
solid.
gonna. He's
I
been
hope he does.
extremely disappointing.
He has been. Brendan Rodgers is solid. Like Chuck Nasty is solid for what he gives you. The best hitter
on base, yeah.
The best hitter on that team right now is Brenton Doyle. He's hitting 326. And if he can keep doing that, like I talked about him in the preseason, where like he can be a guy that can swipe, 60, 65 bags. He's one of the fastest guys in the league. He's the best defensive center fielder in the entire league. But like that's not like he can't be the guy.
Yeah, I'm not laughing at your point. It just sounds so ridiculous when you hear he's going to steal 60, 65 bases this year. It sounds so stupid, but it's true because of the new rules. It's just like that's a lot of steals, but like realistic.
Yeah.
So I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. It's just that sounded funny.
Yeah, but 6-19, not a whole lot to write home about. They are going to be in contention for the worst team in baseball this year.
But they won't be.
I don't think they will be either.
They'll be like
and we'll get to that team.
They'll be second to last, yeah.
The National League Central, probably the most fun division in baseball.
Oh, God,
I think it's going to be the most fun for the entire season. We talked about it in the preseason episode. Like every team is going to be within 10 wins of each other. You got the Brewers at the top. Freddie Peralta looks awesome, and
not today.
He got touched up today, but he was due for it. Like he was putting up video game numbers. The bullpen is really solid. The young hitters have been. Bryce Terang has been on a tear.
He came out of nowhere. Well, there are expectations for him, but like he's been pretty
But he was bad
disappointing.
at the
And
plate last year.
yeah, well, all those young guys were like
That's true.
those 3 young guys they have. It's not Churio because he started this year, but
Weimer was really bad at the
Weimer
plate
was
last year,
really
but he's
bad.
in
Weimer
triple right
is really
now.
bad. Sal Frelick and then Bryce Terang. Um, I think Sal Frelick is a better glove. I think that's why he's in the lineup because like
Yeah.
his defense outweighs anything he can do at the plate, and it's worth it. He's not going to give you a ton hitting. Um, I don't think they want to keep Weimer in the lineup right now,
Well,
and
he's in triple. Did they recall him?
I
Did he
think they
get called
did.
back up?
Yeah,
He
I think
started in
like
triple. Oh,
this
because
week.
Garrett Mitchell's on the IL, so
Yeah,
he's
I
probably
think
up.
they did it this week. And, like he's been getting some MLB time, and he hasn't been like what they
No.
expect. And then Yelich cooled off a little bit.
Well, he's hurt. He had the back
Yeah, but
problem,
I
come
mean
back
he
up.
had been before. But
Yeah.
William Contreras has been awesome.
He is
Really good.
incredible.
He had
I feel like people sleep on him. Like he is one of the better catchers in the league.
yeah,
And
he's
people are
top
surprised that
5.
he's hitting as well as he's hitting. Like he probably won't keep on that pace, but he's a top 5 catcher in the league. 100%.
Yeah, I think he leaves a little to be desired catching, but like he's quickly improving. Like he's becoming a much better catcher. But yeah, he's probably like besides who would you say? Real Muto and who's another catcher up there? Like Real Muto is probably the best offensive hitting catcher in the league right now, I would say.
Yeah.
Like a couple
Rutschman and
years
Will
ago.
Smith. Will
Yeah,
Smith
Will
is up
Smith.
there.
That's the other one I was
Cal
thinking of.
Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh like got a lot of pop, but like he can't. I feel like
Yeah.
he's not a great defensive catcher. I'd
Yeah.
say like Wilson Contreras a couple of years ago was like the best catcher in baseball by far,
Yeah.
and it's like William is like coming right up to take over where his brother left off. And Wilson Contreras is off to a pretty good start too, by the way. I feel like so. Not to jump the gun, but just trying to see the lineup before I say that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Really?
And honestly, like the big disappointment for them, honestly, has probably been DL Hall. Like he's the big piece in the Corbin Burns trade, and he's been
Yeah, he's on the shelf.
inconsistent.
I think he got hurt.
Yeah, now
again.
he's on the shelf. Yeah. And I know he hasn't had a ton of MLB time to go off of, but you needed more production from the Corbin Burns trade. And I like the prospects they brought back with him, but I think you needed somebody that can fill in the rotation immediately. And like Colin Ray has been really good, but I don't think Colin Ray is very good as a pitcher.
No, it won't last. But like
he frustrates me because I think he's like my personal perception of him is that he's bad, but like he turns in quality starts pretty consistently.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Like they are like or would you say Wade Miley's good? Like
he's Wade Miley. You know what you're going to get out of him.
Gun to your head. Are you saying he's good?
No.
Okay, that's.
But you know what you're going to get out of him. At least you have that.
No, that's true. Well, I'm getting somewhere with this. I promise. That's kind of the thing with this team. It's like they only really have one good pitcher, and let's be honest, Freddie Peralta. You put him on another team, he's probably not the number one on half of the teams. This year he has been, but like through a whole season, no, probably not. Not up to this point, or not in this point in his career. It has not been like a true number one. He's improving for sure. But those 4 other guys in the rotation who you'd say aren't good always seem to be good, at least in the first half of the season for them. They just get good starting pitching most of the time. Yeah. And it's like, you kind of have to trust it until it doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So. Your Cubbies, 16-9, only a half game back on the Brewers. They're looking really solid. Pete Crow Armstrong, really first hit. Bomb today with Bellinger on the shelf. They brought him up yesterday, and he went Yabo today.
Yeah, he sucked last year when he was up in September.
Yeah,
I don't think he didn't have a hit. He played like a month, off and on. He was horrible, not in the field, but he couldn't hit. So, the blue hair thing's a little weird. I don't know if he still got that going. That was strange, but yeah, they look really good despite of the big glaring hole in the rotation called Kyle Hendricks.
But touched on that in the weekly episode.
Yeah, he's not good. But the bullpen's been pretty consistent. Like that Kwas guy we got from the Royals last year has not been very good. Like I think that was the one piece from all the moves they've made, in the last year or so that I've been pretty disappointed in. Because yeah, I don't know if he was worth keeping around. He hasn't been good whatsoever. Steele's on the shelf. He'll be back soon. But like Javier Assad's been awesome.
He's been really good.
A couple of those starters, I don't know how much longer they're going to last. Like that Jordan Wicks guy's been putting together some like good starts, bad starts. I guess we'll see. I just feel like with the starting pitching, they're just kind of treading until Steele gets back and gets back to himself. But this, like, if you look at their lineup, they're doing quite a good job despite like everyone kind of having a slow start. You know what I mean? Like Nico Horner's got his average up to 300. He was really slow, and like he's pushed through that. Talkman's been playing a little more now that Bellinger's out of the outfield. He looks pretty solid. I mean, hitting 298. Hap, you're kind of getting what I expected out of you. Michael Bush, didn't expect that. 5 home runs in 5
No,
games.
not at
That was
all.
crazy. He's cooled off a little bit, but it's okay. I mean, as long as he's hitting that, I mean, what do you really expect out of him? The only guy that I'm a little like, come on, let's go, is Dansby Swanson. He's been struggling at the plate a little bit, and he did for like a good chunk of last year too, just off that big contract. And I don't know, like I feel like he's one of the best shortstops in the league with the glove, and you're just waiting for him to wake up. But like even all those complaints I have, they still have 15 wins. Just swept the
Yeah.
Astros. If you told me that April 1st that we were just going to sweep the Astros in the last week of April, I'd be like, oh, yeah, we're going to be really good, but it doesn't look as good as you'd think it would. But they're playing good ball. Like, there's nothing to really complain about.
Yeah. The Reds have been honestly what I expected. I think that they are not quite there yet. And I mentioned in the preseason episode for the National League, I thought they were going to go under their win total, but be right around it. I do have one apology for Ellie De La Cruz because we both were very low on him
more
coming
so,
in.
but I agreed. I apologize. He looks really good.
The strikeouts are definitely still there. Like he still has a good chunk of strikeouts. He's got 31 strikeouts and 85 at bats. So we're still looking at like a 30% K rate. Not good, but the OPS is really good. He's got 18 RBI. He's got 7 bombs. He's still as explosive as it comes. The K's is still a glaring red flag. I think that's going to catch up with him eventually, but he looks far more put together than what he did last year.
Yes.
Outside of that beginning stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And the pitching has been solid for them. I think Alexis Diaz is really disappointing, to be honest. Like he just looks like he doesn't have it. I can't figure him out. I just don't think he really has it.
He might not, like what I was going to say, it feels like the Reds are kind of like putting a lot of good games together, like 7-1, 8-2, games like that. And then when they lose, they look really bad. Like they get blown out.
Yeah, they got blanked by the Phillies the other day.
Yeah, and it's
0,
like
8-0. But
yeah, but then they're losing to the Phillies, and they rally in the 7th inning. Score 4 runs. Like these guys all hit too. I feel like maybe like 1 through 7. Like De La Cruz, obviously, a guy like Encarnacion Strand, Spencer Steer.
Yeah.
You just wait till like Matt McLean gets back. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. Same with Noelvi Marte is on. Well, he's suspended for
he'll be
games,
up eventually though.
But I think he'll be good like when he's there. So they're about what I expected. Honestly, I haven't seen anything that's super surprising to me out of them outside of Alexis Diaz. I was actually pretty high on him coming into the season, but they've been a solid unit, and I think they're going to be right in the middle of this division.
Yeah, that bottom of the order needs to wake up a little bit, though. I'm just looking at today's lineup, and it's not. Well, yeah, there's some room to improve there, but you'd have to show me the numbers, but I feel like this team likes to put the ball in play as a whole. Maybe like outside of a couple of the hitters, I feel like they make things happen because they put the ball in play.
Yeah. The Pirates are starting to pirate. They're 13-13.
Told you.
I know. So unfortunate.
Yeah, no, they're fun.
They are fun. They're a really fun team. We're gonna see some of the younger arms come up, between
Couple
late
weeks
May
here.
and July. Yeah, probably in the next month or so we'll see them. But they'll be in the mix. Like they're not going to be horrendous. They're not going to be out of it at any given point this year, but they're starting to cool off. They're coming back down to earth, which was probably due. They dropped the series against the Brewers. They looked pretty terrible against the Red Sox early in the
I
week
bet on the
and last
Pirates, like
weekend.
2 of the games. I think they were pretty poor. Yeah. Hitting. This team struggled to hit. They strike out a lot. Like we talked about Jack Sawinski on Monday or Tuesday whenever we recorded last. Yeah, they strike out a lot. I mean, McCutcheon's been pretty good for them. Brian Reynolds is always good. But Connor Joe, same thing. But outside of that, Brian Hayes has been a little better, but like still a lot left to be desired. But you're not getting a ton of the hitting. Like I feel like the pitching has been better than expected, and that's why they're above 500 or treading.
Yeah, and Bednar's starting to come around, so that'll be a good anchor for them.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals in last at 11-14. I mentioned them as a overreaction to them being really bad. They've actually kind of been pesky, which still surprises me, to be honest with you. With that rotation, I know I like to give Lance Lynn a lot of shit, but
yes, you do.
I mean, between him and Kyle Gibson, and I know they moved Zach Thompson to the bullpen this week, but even he was in there. But with Sonny Gray as your number one, like you're going to win a good chunk of games with him on the bump. I know they pissed away his good start the other day, but they'll be in the mix too. I mean, the Cardinals always are in the mix regardless. Goldie's starting to come around. Arenado's
horrible.
Goldie, but he looked good this week. I think he's starting to come around.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what's up with Arenado.
I don't know either. Maybe he's just not the same player anymore.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean towards that.
When did he sign that big contract with the Cardinals? Was that like 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Yeah, he got shipped from Colorado in
2019? 2020? Yeah. It's that time.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
It's like, maybe he put up all those numbers because he played half of his games in a high school field. I don't know. Yeah. Still a platinum glover. Like, I mean, it still gives you everything else. It's just, what's he batting? Like, how bad is that average?
He is.
Phone's being slow. I'm trying. Of course, they didn't play today, so I can't look there. The Cardinals bet on them yesterday.
Nolan Arenado. He's actually hitting 295 right now.
Yeah, but there's no slug there. It's all like singles.
No, he's got 6 doubles, 1 home run, 12 RBIs. Yeah, he's not striking out, so a lot of balls in play. Slugging is 389, so yeah, he's really not slugging. The OPS isn't really there, but he's not striking out, so who knows? I think he will come around.
It's kind of funny because he's like their best hitter aside from Wilson Contreras, who's been freaking awesome, like we just talked about. Like right now, he's probably the best hitting catcher in baseball. Like today, not in general, but like looking at his numbers today, probably.
Yeah.
Average wise, like him and Will Smith. Cal Raleigh might be up there too, but yeah, I mean Goldie's these guys got to score runs.
Yeah.
Like their pitching's not deep enough to, on day 3, 4, 5 to be able to mess around with. Oh, can we score 8 runs today? Yeah, every day. Like they're gonna have to win a lot of high scoring games, and top to bottom right now, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Just looking at that lineup, the way they're playing, that's not gonna happen. You need a guy like Nolan Gorman to start getting on base. Brendan Donovan's your leadoff hitter, hitting 217. And I know they're kind of playing around with the lineup a little bit. And you've got some guys coming in and out.
Yeah, Jordan Walker just got sent down.
Yeah, he's been struggling. But, like, somebody's got to step up, What are you going to do? Have Paul Goldschmidt hit leadoff in July when he's finally hitting 280 again? Like,
Yeah.
Someone else has got to step up. They got to hit.
Yeah. Yeah. National League East, we got the Braves and Phillies both at the top, a game apart.
They're good.
They're really good. The
Both of
Phillies,
them.
I will say, because perception, like if you told me that they were 16-10 without me looking at standings, I would have told you
You'd
they were
have no
lying with the
idea because you
Phillies.
bet on them every time they lose. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's frustrating. I know.
But they've been solid. Like Aaron Nola appears to be like slightly broken, but Ranger Suarez has been a menace. And
I don't know how that guy stinks. Like you can show me every advanced number. You can show me every start. He stinks in my brain. He just does.
But they've been good, man. Like
Mhm.
they are usually slow starters, and like granted, the first 2 weeks was like slow start, but I mean
Yeah.
we're a month in now, and like
Shook
they're
it off.
16-10, so yeah. Braves will probably need to add a pitcher at some point with Strider out for the year. I think they will make a move
Yeah,
at some point. I don't
for
know when
sure.
that'll be, but they'll be in a sweepstakes somewhere. They're gonna have to, but they'll be fine for the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the bullpen could always use some work. Like I feel like
Yep.
the Braves
Same with the
some games.
Phillies.
Yeah, both of them kind of let games go late,
Mhm.
and I guess we're just talking about these two teams at the same time, which is okay because they're very similar.
Yeah.
Like the lineup's good. Even like Schwarber's been batting okay, hasn't he? Isn't he like over?
Yeah, the
200?
average has been really good for him comparatively. I mean, we just talked about it. He's hitting like 250-ish, I think, 240,
202.
202.
As of 2 days ago, I think. They
So better
played.
than I thought. But Alec Boehm has been awesome. Alec Boehm
Yeah.
is finally starting to hit, which like I've kind of just been waiting for because I feel like he is better than what his numbers always are. And he's OPSing 979 right now.
Yeah,
And
hitting 333. He looks awesome.
yeah, I like what I've seen out of him, which is really good to see because he's kind of been like the weak link of the offense a lot because he's in the lineup every day.
And he's hitting like fifth. Like
Yeah.
he's in a spot to produce, and he's been disappointing. But yeah, that looks really good. He bat cleanup today.
Yeah, he's been good. And obviously then you have, you got
Trey
Harper and
Turner's
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah, Trey Turner's a stud.
And Harper, yeah.
And for the Braves, Marcell Ozuna is
That
on
what
a
a
tear.
story. I saw something last Sunday, like he's been hitting like 320 since like June of last year with 40 something home runs. It's stupid.
OPSing 1.094.
Yeah, he's been the best
got 9
hitter in
bombs.
baseball since last June.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's hitting 344 right now. He's got 29 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
So
He
he's
has been
over an RBI a game. He's been crazy.
Yeah.
He'll keep rolling.
Matt Olson's been slow.
He has been, but I feel like that's expected after you hit what did he hit 50 some bombs?
52, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
He'll be all right.
There's still no holes in that lineup.
No.
Austin Riley's a menace. Yeah, there's no holes.
Yeah, he's
in that
sick.
lineup.
The Mets, I overreacted on them, and they told me to eat shit because they are the hottest team in baseball right now. Actually, they dropped the other day, but I think they were like 10-3 or over the last 13, something like that. They're 13-11 right now.
You should overreact to teams you like.
I know.
Because you overreacted on the Cardinals, and they're back to life, sort of. You like turned the Mets season around.
I did. I went in pretty good on the Mets.
Yeah,
I was like, this team is...
So, I mean, you weren't out of line. You weren't out of line at all. I'm just saying, like, now look at them. They heard you.
I know. No kidding.
The real deal, Jeff McNeil, read Overdue Sports? Could be.
Yeah,
no,
he's doing it out of spite.
He should. He stinks. He stinks right now.
The pitching has been pretty solid. Like, I still think they can use some arms. Like, Chaminade isn't really going to cut it when you get into crunch time. But even like Quintana's been good, but he's also one of the, he's like, any other team, he's not a number one. So.
No, God, no. God, no.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a number two.
No, probably not.
Unless you're on the Rockies or something, but like that doesn't count.
No.
Like you put him on the Cubs or something. Well, let's go back to 2018. Yeah, he's like a 4 or a 3. He's like a good 3, I'd say.
Yeah. The bottom of this division, terrible. Nats and Marlins. Marlins are going to be in contention for the worst team in baseball. They're just putrid. AJ Puck hit the IL after being bumped into the starter role. Poor decision, did not work.
Good for him.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably going to save him some
Yeah, his mentals
issues.
are doing much better now. Good for him. He doesn't have to go play for
Probably.
that team. Yeah.
The offense is horrible. Outside of really like Jazz Chisholm has actually been pretty good so far. I want to see his
Brian
numbers.
Dela Cruz might be hitting his body weight, but I feel like he's giving you the slug. Jake Berger woke up a little bit. Arias has been off to kind of a slow start, I feel like.
Average
That's off
what?
the
Yeah,
top of my
for what
head.
you expect out of him, just because he doesn't slug.
Yeah, like that was such a fluke last year. Like I was so
Yeah,
not high on him.
yeah,
Like how's this guy hitting 400 in June? He's got like 100 singles and 1 home run.
that's what he does. Though. I mean, he did that in Minnesota too. Like he's
Yeah, no, I'm not
a
saying
good
like,
average
oh,
hitter.
go hit home runs at all. It's just not his thing, which is okay. It's just like you said, what's he hitting? Like when is the Marlins? There they are. He's hitting 299. Okay. So he started a little slow. He picked it up. Dela Cruz 262, Chisholm 247. Josh Bell has been a major disappointment ever since he's gotten into town.
Yeah.
Vidal
Outside of like the
Brujan,
first 2 weeks, he was like he
yeah,
went nuclear as soon as the Guardians traded him, and then he was terrible.
yeah. Berger didn't play the other night, but
Yeah,
he's starting to
Jazz
hit
has
some home
been
runs.
better, but not great. He still strikes out a shit ton. He's still
Yeah, I
striking out
mean,
at a 30% clip.
he's a flawed baseball player. He
Very
might
much
be
so.
hurt. He hasn't played a ton. He hasn't played in
Oh, he
2
could
3
be.
days. Yeah, clearly overdue sports does not pay attention to the Miami baseball Marlins.
No, I do not.
Yeah.
Although I do have some stake in the win total for the season, but they're 6-20 right now, so I'm not sweating it yet.
Yeah, I think you're all right.
Yeah. I don't have much to say on the Nats, honestly. Like,
No,
I feel like they're on pace for what they are. There hasn't really been anybody that's like surprising or
their
not surprising
closer,
or disappointing.
their closer in Lane Thomas. That's about it.
Lane Thomas is solid. He was good last year. I actually like him.
C.J. Abrams too. And
C.J. Abrams is
he's a guy
good.
that he's a guy that might be moved. C.J. Abrams.
I could see it. Honestly, I can't remember what their farm system looks like, but
Probably not good. They're all
starting
on
to
the
get to the
team now.
point. Well, they've got Dylan Cruz in the farm. Like they're sitting on some good players. He was the number 2 pick last year, but I mean, Abrams will steal a lot of bags this year. He's looking better, but I mean, he seemed rushed up last year, so I think this year it's like his settling in year. So we'll kind of see like more so what he can do. But
Yeah, and some growing pains too. But he gives you like occasional slug too. I think he
yeah,
hits leadoff, and 3-4 games a year he'll start the game off with a home run. So
yeah,
I mean, they got some bright spots, but like, there's really no reason to kick this team when they're down. Like, truthfully,
no,
there's really not.
no. Moving over to the American League West, kind of a rat race at the top. The Mariners are in first at 13-12. It would be really nice if they would stop striking out, but
They won't.
I don't know. They
Gotta be a philosophy thing. Like,
they're
you can't tell me 9 grown
they're
men strike out 35% of the time.
it's
It's gotta be a
crazy. It's
philosophy thing.
insane. It's ridiculous how much they're striking out. And the pitching has not been anywhere near like if you asked me preseason if I thought like Luis Castillo would be getting touched up the way that he is, and they've been disappointing on the mound. Like coming into the season, I was like, they have 2 legitimate Cy Young candidates, and what?
Not the last 2 weeks. They had like the best streak ever for like starting pitching ERA through 10 games. It
Oh
was like
yeah.
sub 2. Yeah, but I was gonna say when you were finished, and I had to correct you there. I didn't mean to be rude. It was kind of funny though. But are you ready for them to win like 4 games in June? Because they are going
Yeah.
to get bullied on the mound in about a month.
Yeah.
They are going to give up so many damn runs. So many runs. And then it's
Yeah.
going to be really funny when like Logan Gilbert gets shelled, George Kirby gets shelled, and then Luis Castillo like gives them the 4 wins that he pitched that month, because he'll turn it around. You know,
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
yeah. But the hitting's been strangely good for everyone except J-Rod, who's starting to hit now. Like the last couple
Yeah,
of days,
he
he's
got
been
his
much
first
better.
bomb
Today, I think. Lead off
No, it was a couple days ago.
Oh, okay.
It was this week.
Yeah.
Rangers at 500.
Mm.
I still don't really know. I mean, they've got guys that are hurt, so I don't want to
Yeah, they just cool off
I
a
don't want to
little.
overreact anywhere. They'll be fine in the
Yeah,
long run.
they were
Evan
hitting the
Carter
shit out of
looks
the ball.
Yeah, Evan Carter looks really solid. Wyatt Langford still looks really solid. You still got Corey Seager who'll come around a little bit. They'll be fine. I don't really have a whole lot to say on the Rangers, but they've got some guys hurt, so that's kind of what I'm looking at with them.
I feel like that pen leaves a little bit to be desired too.
Yeah,
that was their issue last year. I don't know if they really fixed it or not.
not
It's
really,
like
no. But
this is this is a little strange. Bullpen is such a like underrated commodity, but you notice like there's only a handful of guys in the league that you go trade for. It's always like, oh, we have a bad bullpen, but you need to step up. You ever find that strange? You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
you need starting pitching, you go get it. You need a corner infielder give you 40 home runs a year, you go get it. I just feel like there's only a handful of guys or bullpen guys that get like rearranged from teams. It's only like an elite class of
it's the
bullpen
high.
pitchers that get traded
Well,
for.
to me, it's because that position is so finicky as far as like your role and how your job security is. Like, unless you are a top end back end guy, it's kind of just who's hot. Like you really are just playing who's hot. And I think it's a good point because, like you said, like corner infielder, but you only have one corner infielder playing. You have 6 bullpen guys that need to be in the
That's
mix
a
at
good
all
point.
times. So I just think it's like quantity in the like there's just an access of bullpen arms in the league that you have to fill up spots. And so to say I'm going to go gather like 5 top end back end
Oh,
guys
I'm
is
not
not
saying
feasible. So
that.
no,
I'm
I'm
just
not saying that
saying
either.
go
But
get a
you know what I
reliable
mean?
guy. Because like
Yeah,
there
you
are
would
so
think that
many
happens more.
there's so many top end teams in the league right now that win in spite or despite their bad bullpens. And the Rangers, I feel
Yeah.
like, are one of them. The Braves are one of them. And like the Braves are actively trying. You know what I mean? They always seem
Yeah,
to
they've got
find
like
someone.
AJ Minter and Rizal Iglesias. Like
Yeah,
they've got good arms in the
they have
pen.
the top end arms. I just feel like a lot of the times they're in a position where they're so taxed with those guys that they have to have somebody step up. That's a little different. I'm talking about the guys that are on a good team that you don't really have a really good bullpen guy. Like Leclerc kind of came out of nowhere for them. They had Chapman last year, acquired him though. But like before that, did they really have anybody that was super special in that bullpen?
Not really, no.
Before the season started? No. That's just I guess what I'm getting at. It's like a team that has a glaring bullpen weakness and they don't try to go get someone. And given it's early for sure, and like you wouldn't see
Yeah.
it yet, but just like the mentality with the relief pitching is a little strange to me because it's like most of the good teams should have several serviceable options, and I feel like there are some good teams that don't have that.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Angels in 3rd place, 10-15. Mike Trout's off to a really good start, which is really cool to see because how can you not love Mike Trout?
10 home runs, 13 RBI.
Crazy.
Michael
That's
J.
actually
Trout.
insane.
Yeah.
But only hitting 237.
Yeah.
And if you look at the advanced stats, like it seems like it's not sustainable, but it's Mike Trout, so I don't really dig too deep. I mean, he's one of the best to ever
he's
play.
Playing.
So
That's cool.
Yeah,
I love watching
100%.
him play.
Reed Detmers has been freaking awesome.
Tyler Anderson, same thing.
Yeah.
Except yesterday he got touched up a little bit, but
yeah. But I mean, for losing Shohei and they're 10-15 and 3rd place in the West, I don't think anybody anticipated that.
Better than expected for sure.
100%.
I think a lot of people thought this team was going to be like the White Sox, you know.
Yeah.
And for all of the issues they're having, they're playing pretty competitive ball. Like I bet you they're like betting wise, I bet you they're profitable against the spread. You know what I mean? Like they're in games, it seems like a lot of the time. They played okay against the Orioles, like bad start yesterday. I bet the over. But like they never gave up. I mean, they had Joe Adell was not out stealing that base, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. He was just not out. They called him out. That was weird. But yeah, they're competitive. Like much more competitive than they were last year. They made all those moves at the deadline and cut all of them because they were
it was wild.
But Brandon Drury's been really bad for them, and that's a guy I thought like who was gonna build off of the pretty good start he had in Cincinnati. He was like extra base hit machine last year, and he's hitting like his body weight, maybe. So, same thing. Like the expectations are so low. Why would you be so critical? They're not supposed to be where they're not even supposed to be where they are at 10 and 15.
Yeah,
it's hard to nitpick.
Very similar reaction to the A's. The A's are 9 and 16 right now. Much better than expected. I believe they didn't hit 10 wins until like probably pretty close to June. Yeah, until mid to late May. I know they weren't at 7 wins until mid-May, so maybe they rattled off a couple.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close to that, but they've same thing, strangely competitive despite how everyone thinks how bad they were going to be. And I think it's just a middle finger to the management of the team, truthfully. I think it's like, seriously, it's Major League.
Major League.
They're just trying to win, just despite their owner.
I love it. As somebody with an over 57.5 win ticket, it's pretty fun. They are fun, though. Like, they're pretty competitive.
Yeah, I think that's the best part. It's like a lot of times last year, it'd be like the third inning, they're down 8-0.
Oh, it's horrible baseball.
Yeah,
like even when they lose,
it's
pretty good games. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The Astros 7 and 19.
We were wrong about these guys. You and me both. We said they'd figure it out. I don't think they're gonna figure it out. I
don't think so either. I saw a stat today that all time in baseball, there's been 52 teams to start 7 and 19, and of those 52, only 2 have finished above 500 in Major League history. Do I think that the Astros finish under 500? I find it really hard to believe that they don't, but they're making it really hard for me to back them.
They're literally running out of time to expect them. Like, what are they going to do? Go what are they going to do? Go 90 and 30?
I know. That's kind of what they're lining up to do.
They're horrible right now. They can't do anything. Like, literally, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
They don't pitch. They don't hit. They don't run. Nothing. Like, the only bright spot in that lineup right now has got to be like Altuve and Kyle Tucker.
It is. It's Altuve. Altuve is the one guy.
Yeah, even Yordan Alvarez is a little slow. Like, he's like a top 10 hitter in baseball, though. He'll come around. But, like, you have Bregman batting cleanup a lot of the time. And, like, what's he cleaning up? His pants after a 3-pitch strikeout? Like,
nothing. And I thought he was going to go nuclear this year. This is his contract year. And
he was so bad last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, but they can't do anything. Minus that guy who threw a no-hitter. That was like their bright
Ronald
spot.
Blanco, which of anybody on that team to throw a no-hitter.
Yeah, right. But like is Javier still pitching?
I think he just went on the shelf.
Okay, but like he hasn't been good, I'd assume.
No, not really.
Framber Valdez hasn't been good. JP France is pitching, and it's never good.
Oh, and Hunter Brown has been putrid.
Horrible.
I thought he was going to be good too, and he's been awful.
Yeah, the Cubs swept him today, but Verlander didn't look bad. He had a pretty rough first inning, but like they were winning a lot of that game.
Verlander.
And let it go, but like Verlander looked pretty good. That's a good thing for them.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be this bad. They should be 19 and 7, not 7 and 19. I don't get it. They're horrible.
I don't either. There's something bad happening there.
I don't know what it is. He's still the manager too?
No, he's gone.
Oh, he retired. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And people are, I mean, I think that that's a big loss. And I don't think people want to, I mean, like, obviously Dusty Baker is the one going out there and striking out at a 35% clip, but like,
it's a vibes thing. It's a morale thing, It's how you're feeling. Yeah, managing like that is like, I feel like baseball managers get a different opinion of them as a manager than like a football coach or a college basketball coach. You're so more passive doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But like there are so many things you have to consider in baseball. You always got to be thinking a couple innings down the road. And like for a new guy, that's hard to do. And truthfully, like with how bad they're playing, are they like responding to what this guy's saying to them? Because they had to have said something. You know what I mean? Like how good has this team been over the last decade? Like
insane.
baseball wise, they're as close to it. Like they are they not a dynasty? Like for baseball, like by the
Pretty
metrics,
close
like
to it.
3 and 5 years. If they're not, they're right there. Like, could it be just the guys in the locker room are like, oh, fuck off, you don't know what you're talking about. Like I've been here 10 years. It could be the case. I don't know. Like, but something's wrong there because they look like the team's practically the same.
Yep.
It only got better. They didn't lose anybody that was like worth keeping for the most part. You add
Yeah.
Hader and you add like the best reliever in baseball, and like you're never in position to use him.
Yeah, and moving to the AL Central and a vibes thing with a manager, the Guardians, literally the same team as last year, new manager, 18-7.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Way
say they were
different.
bad last year either because Tito is awesome, right?
Yeah.
But like maybe the message was wearing a little thin. I think he said that too. He's just like, I don't
Mhm.
know if I'm like the right guy for these guys anymore. But like they look totally different, and like you said, they're like the polar opposite of the Astros, but it's like the same situation. The team is the same, and they're doing everything right. And could that just be like, hey, you're getting better breaks from last year? Because like, I mean, I feel like when you hear Guardians or Indians, you just think of doomed misery and unfortune. But like they're doing everything right. You know what I mean? The pitching's been good. The hitting is good. You're getting slug. These guys are getting on base. It's like everything you want, and it's the team is the exact same. Like they did. I don't think they made any key changes for the most
Nope,
part.
it's pretty much the exact. Josh Naylor has been a stud,
His brother's been good
and
too.
yeah, Bo Naylor, and this is his first full year, so he's going to be really good. Stephen
Mhm.
Kwan is slugging instead of just hitting like 270 with one double on the season. Like he's
Yeah,
hitting
doubles.
the shit out of the
He's
ball.
hitting like 350 right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's awesome right now. He yeah, that team is just clicking. I think it's a big coach thing.
Yeah. And like the pitching's been good too. Like Logan Allen looks okay. They moved Hunter
Mm-hmm.
Gaddis to the pen. He's a good reliever. Um, them
Bivey's
losing
been
Bieber hurts. I think they're gonna, give away a few that they could have won with, your ace pitching. But like they're holding the fort down for them. They look really good. Like there's really not much to critique on them. Minus they stole my money against the Red Sox that one night. Yeah, do you remember that game we were talking about? Like we were doing a
yeah.
weekly show. They were winning, they lost in like the 11th inning. It was so stupid, but yeah, like you couldn't ask for a better start,
No, Dave. I
especially in that
mean,
division. No one's gonna catch them.
they're the best team in baseball right now.
Yeah, no one's gonna catch them in that
No,
crap ass division.
no, and the Royals are right behind. Well, not right behind them, but the next team at 15-10. And I may have been.
A little eager.
I still don't know yet. I still don't
Yeah.
know yet. I think they'll come back to earth a little bit. I mean, I still think they're a year or two away from being like really, really competitive. But Brady Singer has been awesome, which is good to see because he was terrible last year. And they're hitting the ball pretty well.
Bobby
Like
Witt is awesome.
Bobby Witt's a stud. Vinny Pasquantino's been really good.
Salvi.
Salvi's dude. He seems
Would you
ageless
believe
this
me if
year.
I told you Salvi was 33?
No, I think he's older than that. I would think he's older. It seems like he's been around forever.
He's not. I had
Yeah.
the same thing. He's like 33, 34.
And he hit another home run today, I think. I know he hit one yesterday. I think he's got 6 or 7 on the year. Like, dude.
Yeah,
Really good.
at one, like how the ESPN app has the projections. He was projected like 42 home runs and 140 RBI. So funny.
I love those. That's like the Mike Trout one was like he's projected 83 or he's projected 64 home runs and 83 RBIs.
Yeah, but like Salvi's is like realistic and like an
Yeah.
MVP season. Like that would be nuts, huh? Like this 12-year veteran catcher just wins an MVP playing for the Royals, who finished the year 87 and 85.
And the pitching has been
That's not right,
really
man.
good. Like,
75.
no, it's not. But Alec Marsh has been good as a 5, and then Seth Lugo has been insane as their number 3. Obviously, Cole Reagan's at the top is like he's gonna be a stud. They're good.
They're gonna hit a lull though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think eventually. I mean, they still running out guys like Kyle Isbell, who I'm like not super high on, but he's hitting pretty well right now.
Who's that other guy? Not MJ Melendez, but they have another guy like him in that lineup, like a Michael Taylor type guy. It's
think
not
actually
Michael Taylor, but like guys like him, it's like you have a lot of those guys at the bottom of the order. It's like, really, what are you gonna get out of him?
Oh, they've got like Hunter Renfro is there.
Yeah, he sucks.
Garrett Hampson is there from Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they've still got some holes, but they're playing pretty good baseball.
Yeah, they're
right
playing
now.
good ball.
They're gonna be competitive with the next team, the Tigers, who cannot hit the broadside of a barn right
Ain't
now.
gonna last. I was pretty high on them.
I was
like
too.
off the start. That's not gonna last because that pitching's not gonna last, and they're winning games despite hitting like 210 as a team. That's just not gonna. It's not gonna fare well down the stretch. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish the season with like 70 wins. They can't hit.
No. And like Riley Green's starting to heat up, but like Torkelson looks terrible. Like he doesn't really strike out as much anymore, but he doesn't hit.
Yeah, it's rollover ground ball. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really high on them this year. The back end of the bullpen is still good between Foley and Lang. They're really good one too at the back end, but outside of Skubal, like the rotation has been
serviceable.
decent.
Serviceable minus Skubal, who's been excellent.
Who's insane.
Mm-hmm. And Gary Carpenter's been
Gary Carpenter's been good. Yeah. Him and Riley Green are going to be good. I think Parker Meadows will come around a little bit. Like obviously he's hitting probably sub 100 right now. He's pretty close to hitting sub 100.
It might actually be sub 100. Yeah, but he's
I'm pretty sure he was hitting.
He's not going to give you a ton at the plate, even
No.
if they pull the defense off.
Yeah.
I mean, it was his brother, Austin Meadows. Are they brothers?
Yeah.
He's kind of the same way.
Yeah. But he's a good center fielder. Like he's good to where you can eat, the 200 average if he plays a good center, which he does. So if he does that, it's a win.
Yeah, this team won't suck, but they're going to lose a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Down the stretch here. I think they have another couple weeks of this. Oh, we're winning games despite having 4 hits and 3 runs because some guy has a throwing error in the 7th inning.
Yeah. Then we got the Twins in 4th, and their offense looks horrendous.
Horrible. Top to bottom,
like, really bad. I mean, they were 3rd in the MLB in strikeouts at the plate last year, but they slugged the shit out of the ball. Like they were 1st in home runs, and they're not doing that, and they can't score, and the pitching has been below average.
Yeah, they need Royce Lewis back.
Yeah, they do. Bad.
Yeah, Edward Julian's kind of giving him pop. I think he hit 2 home runs.
He's good.
Today.
I like him. He did. He hit 2 yesterday. Was that yesterday or that was today?
That was today because I bet on the White Sox. So stupid.
But like they had to call up Austin Martin because of that, and he's not giving
Miranda
him anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't hit. The pitching's been well. I mean, I feel like Chris Paddock's been a hole in their rotation. But
they rolled out Woods Richardson today is like okay, but then you still have Pablo and Joe Ryan at the top.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. Their pen's good too. Like they had a good pen last year. The pen's nailed. So
then we got the worst team in baseball, Chicago White Sox. I have nothing.
So mad at them.
I have nothing. I have nothing for them.
I have a little something. Gavin Sheets has been really good.
He actually has been. Yeah. I saw it the other day. He's good. Outside of him, though, it's been
Garrett Crochet was like a cool story to start the season.
He's starting to cool off a little bit, but
like I kind of watched him a little bit, and I did bet on them like twice today and lost both of them. But like I had bet on the Sox and 2 of their 3 wins, and I thought I was getting one today, and I was wrong. But their starting pitching has not been as bad as you would think for a 3-20 team, 3-21 team.
That's true.
Their bullpen is fucking atrocious, though.
Yeah, I've actually hit them a couple. I hit them a couple times first 5, and their bullpen just blows.
Yeah,
games.
I think that's the way to do it. Like if I like them to win, I'm just gonna bet them first 5 if I do it again. But I could pitch for the Chicago White Sox. That pen is so horrible. It's a joke. Tanner Banks, every time that guy comes in the game, it's a circus. Like he should be a rodeo clown. Whatever you want to say about him, he's horrible. I hate that guy. He sucks. But then, like they'd get rid of him, and then he'd be like a top end, back end guy, like Aaron Bummer on the Braves. You know what I mean?
Yep,
it's the same thing. But they suck. They're horrible.
They are. They're really bad. Final division, American League East. Yanks at the top. they look pretty damn good, even
Doing
without
everything
Garrett Cole.
well, minus Judge. Just
Minus
surprising.
Judge. But imagine when he gets. I mean, they're 17-8 without Judge and without Garrett Cole, essentially.
Yeah, they look awesome. The pitching's been good too.
The pitching has been really good.
I think I like Nestor Cortez has been touched up a little bit here and there, but then like
But that's kind of what he gives you. I mean, he's usually their 4, like when everybody's healthy. So, and Stroman's been really good, which is surprising.
Yeah, he's a ground ball guy too. Great place to pitch for him. Keep the ball on the ground. You're not going to give up a ton of runs there.
Yeah,
Clark Schmidt's been good for them too.
Clark Schmidt's been really good. Volpe and Oswaldo Cabrera have
the hitting,
really
like the
good.
young guys hitting has been like the real difference maker there because like Volpe was horrible last year. I feel like until like September, and then he's been like really hot out of the gate for them. That's good. Stanton's been good-ish.
He's been better than he has been.
Yeah, we alluded to it
the other day.
Yeah, we alluded to it. Like at least he's playing. Rizzo is in the lineup too. Guy had the longest concussion in the history of ever. Yeah, like there's not Juan Soto looks good. Like there's really not much bad to say about him. Like their bullpen's been pretty solid.
The only hole I see is the catching. Like I'm not a big fan of Austin Wells. Like I don't think he's going to be very good. But
yeah, Kiner Falefa is not there anymore, right?
No, he's gone.
Isn't he a catcher too, or am I thinking of
Trevino? No, Trevino. Oh, was Trevino a catcher? I know Kiner Falefa was a middle guy.
He's what?
I don't know. Kiner Falefa is a middle infielder.
Oh, okay. I always confuse those two. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't really have a catcher. They have a guy to catch.
Yeah.
But
with the rest of that offense, that's kind of all you need.
Yeah, they have been that way for quite some time, just because of the lineup, the way it's been constructed. It's okay. I mean, who's the last good catcher they've had? Jorge
Posada. Probably. Yeah, exactly. He's the last one that comes to name, so I imagine it's him.
Yeah.
The Orioles right behind them, half game back, 16-8.
This team is so good.
They're so good. Although,
go ahead.
Jackson Holiday might be time to have a conversation.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he's not ready.
Nope. 1 for 30 in his first 30 at bat.
I saw somebody comparing him to Bobby Dahlbeck on the Red Sox. That's sad.
I don't think he's going to be that, but he's not ready. I mean,
clearly he's clearly not ready.
He looks, and it's not like he's 1 for 30 baseball, 1 for 30. He looks very overmatched in most of his at bats. Like he's getting blown away by fastballs, middle.
Yeah,
like
just
he just no.
And like there's really no. Yeah,
he's 19.
Yeah, and there's no reason for him to be there either.
No, not really. They're fine without him.
Yeah, I feel like he's hurting them. Like Jorge Mateo could play shortstop and probably do better.
Yeah, and he was before he came up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And like, they just called up Heston Kjerstad too, who's slugging like a ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
he was averaging like 3 RBIs per game.
Yeah, they don't need Jackson Holiday right now, and he doesn't need them. He needs to play AAA ball.
Yep, I 100% agree. I think it's his time.
What was I gonna say, dude? You use the Action Network app. Do you feel like Gunnar Henderson hits a home run every game?
He has been.
Yeah, I feel like he hits a home run every game. He does not have 30 home runs, but I feel like he does. Every time I look,
8.
Gunnar Henderson homers to left. Gunnar Henderson homers to center. He is awesome.
Over a 1 OPS, and he's slugging 649. He's got 8 bombs, 20 RBIs. He is mashing. And Jordan Westberg is also mashing.
So is Cole
Jordan Westberg's got 5. Yeah, so it's cool.
Yeah, the only guy who isn't is Santander and Mountcastle.
Yeah,
he's guys who did all last year.
Well, Mountcastle's been pretty good, but he's a platoon guy with O'Hearn because they just split. They're just
righty lefty.
Yeah, they're splits merchants. They're really good at hitting one side of the plate.
The opposite hand, yeah. But I feel like maybe it's just because they don't play every day, so it's kind of hard to hold that against them. But like Santander's getting a little better. Like yesterday, I had that game on, and he was 1 for 1 with 2 walks and a hit by pitch. So I feel like the OBP is still there, but he's just not putting the ball in play like you really want to. He's got 4 home runs. That's probably just a slow start. He's really good. He's got pop from both sides of the plate.
Same with Mullins. And I don't know if it's just because the young guys have been so good, but I feel like Cedric Mullins has kind of been under the radar.
He has been slug.
Yeah.
Do you know he only hits left-handed now?
Really? I didn't know that.
I don't think he switch hits anymore.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if you look at his profile, I think it just says bats left, throws right.
Hmm.
Or I don't know if he's left-handed, like throwing. I think he's right-handed, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think he just hits left-handed now. So he
Hmm.
came up as a switch hitter, right? Like I'm not
Yeah, he did.
misremembering that.
No,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think he
he
just
did.
hits from the left side now.
Interesting.
But I feel like there's one more thing we're missing about this team, but I can't.
I mean, Corbin Burns is like unhittable.
Oh well, yeah, he always is. But like he'll lose all of his losses. He gives up 3 runs on like 4 walks. He just has a bad
Yeah.
day. Can't throw a strike. He never gets pieced up. It's crazy.
No. Yeah.
Anything, and whenever he pitches poorly, it's always his fault. Like he just doesn't let the other guy beat you. He'll beat himself. But well, that was gonna be my one critique of the team. Like I feel like the starting pitching for them isn't gonna. Unless I'm missing somebody, like the only guy that really comes to mind is Corbin Burns on their starting and the rotation.
Yeah. I mean, they've had that new guy Suarez got a start the other day. Yeah, they just they just put together starts from guys. The
Yeah,
rotation like isn't anything incredible.
special. But the way
Yeah.
the team hits, it doesn't have to be.
No, not at all.
They're
Especially
never
the way
out
it's
of
hitting right
game.
now. I
They're
mean, Grayson Rodriguez has been okay. He hasn't been amazing, but he's been
yeah, I think his
good
ERA
enough.
is a little high. I think he got pieced up.
Yeah.
Really
And then
bad.
you've got Dean Kramer who just like eats innings. Same with Cole Irvin. Cole Irvin just eats innings.
Yeah,
Which is
I
what they
mean,
did
they're
last
nothing to
year.
write home about. They're serviceable, but like,
Yeah.
that could be like if they're in a playoff spot like early, you might see them go nab a starter.
Yeah.
Still need one for the playoffs because like Burns obviously will be just fine, but I wouldn't want Grayson Rodriguez starting a playoff game for me.
Yeah.
But
moving to
Penn's good.
Yeah, the Penn's good.
Yennier Cano's
Even
awesome.
even without Bautista, like Yennier Cano's
Yeah,
awesome.
Bautista's actually the best closer in baseball.
Yeah.
No one else
And
you
they-
say it's him.
Yeah.
Could you just see like you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No.
Didn't get into it, but could you imagine seeing the Mountain on the mound, 6'8", 270? Oh my god, I shit my pants. Yeah, oh, who's pitching today? LeBron James. I mean, Jose Bautista. Oh my god. And he throws iron too.
Yeah, he did. Felix Bautista, not Jose Bautista.
Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, you're right.
I would also be surprised if I saw him on the mound, but
Yeah, but wouldn't shit my pants.
yeah.
He'd shit his pants.
Red Sox 14-12. A miracle they're 14-12 because of the starting pitch. I mean, they're rolling out a AAA lineup right now. Let's be honest. I mean, Devers is back as of yesterday, so a little bit better, but they're rolling out a AAA lineup.
Yeah. I will say I have been betting the Red Sox more frequently than I'd like to admit with mixed results. But
That's how I've been.
Connor Wong's been really good for them.
Connor Wong has been really good. And
Wilmer Abreu.
Yeah, Willie
Maybe.
Abreu's been pretty solid.
Oh,
they're just.
Why the hell is Yoshida not playing?
I saw something on Twitter today. There's drama with him because I don't know what it is, but like he isn't playing in the field. It's been O'Neill's been awesome for them, by the way.
Oh yeah, duh.
It's been like Rafaela. Yeah, it's been like Rafaela, Jarren Duran, Willie Abreu, and then the first guy off the bench most of the time has been Rob Refsnyder and not Yoshida. Like Yoshida isn't even getting handed at bats. And I know he's not like a slug guy, but it seems like they just don't.
Hitter.
But they don't want him in the lineup anymore.
Why?
That's kind of what it seems like they're starting to squeeze him out. I know he's hitting 233 right now, and he's actually hitting pretty well, but like he hasn't played at all in the last couple of games. He's got
their second best hitter. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something happening there, and I don't know what it is. I saw some people on Twitter talking about it today, but I couldn't figure out like what exactly it is. But it just seems like they are trying to squeeze him out, and I don't think anybody else is going to want him though. Like I don't think they're going to get anything for him. Really, I mean he's an average hitter. He's a slap hitter.
Yeah, he's like a Stephen Kwan.
Yeah,
without the slug this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like he had
80 RBIs
20 last year too. Like, I mean, you're rolling out a rotation that you need runs, and if you're not putting guys out to score runs, it's Not gonna work.
Yeah, he struck out at like a 17% clip last year, hit 289 with 72 RBIs.
Yeah, that's really good for
Yeah,
him.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It just that's what it seems like. I don't actually know what it is. I haven't figured that out yet. I was trying to figure it out today, and I came across nothing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But yeah, you said it pretty well. They're very fortunate to be here.
Yeah. Blue Jays 13-12. Also another team that's very fortunate to be there. I think it's time for them to start selling off pieces and rebuild.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in like the preview episode or like MLB preview. I wasn't on the first one, but the second one, I'm just not high on this team. Like they just never put it together. Vlad's.
No.
I saw some tweet the other day. Like, would you believe me if I showed you this guy's expected stats and then Vlad's hitting like what 220 right now, something like that. His expected's like 330. It's so crazy. But Bo Bichette's off to a slow start. George Springer's off to a slow start. I feel like the one shining bright spot's been Jose Barrios. He's sub 1 ERA.
Yeah, he's been crazy good. I know he gave up a couple today, but like Gossman hasn't been very. He was better last time out. He'll be fine. He's really good.
Yeah, Gossman
Kikuchi is
okay.
like Kikuchi is good enough. Chris Bassett, like you know what you're gonna get, but he's not anything incredible. Like but he's a nice three. He's a nice number 3 to have. I mean, Dalton Varsho has been one of their better hitters.
Yeah, the slug batting 7th.
Yeah, like, exactly. But like they're still rolling out. They've got Kiner Fluffa, and they're still rolling out. And they're still rolling out Justin Turner, and the Cavan Biggio experiment is not really working. And I think it's time. I think they got to start selling some pieces and retool.
Yeah, he's not his dad.
No.
But yeah, you'd think like. I guess, I don't know, maybe with the way Justin Turner played last year, to everyone's surprise, you were kind of expecting the same thing this year with him personally, and I just don't think that's been the case.
Yeah.
I don't know, they're mid. There's a lot of mid
very
teams
mid.
if you've noticed us go
very
through,
mid.
what, 30 or 29 of the 30 teams. There's a lot of mid baseball teams out there right now. And it's early because you don't really know what's going on. Everyone's kind of getting in the groove, but a lot of very average baseball teams right now.
Yeah. And team number 30, last one, Rays, 13-13. Also, they are like the epitome of mid right now. And usually they're a team that can like win despite the injuries and like guys out. And I know they don't have Shane McClanahan this year, but I don't know. It's not clicking. Like Ryan Pepio was better his last time out. I think he'll be fine in the long run. He's still young and putting things together. Zach Littell has been really good, and Zach Eflin has not been as good as what he was. Aaron Savali's been good. Yeah. I mean, they've got pieces. They don't win.
Yeah, I just feel like their problems are mostly hitting right now, which has been the polar opposite of last year because, like, at the plate last year, it seemed like they could do no wrong. I mean, did they really lose any position players? For the most part, not really. It's mostly the same guys, right?
I can't remember who their catcher was last year, but it was Christian Bethancourt. Who's gone, but he didn't.
Wasn't Zunino there too?
Yeah, now they've got Rene Pinto and Ben Rortvedt, Madison, Wisconsin native.
Yeah, he sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, he's actually really good defensively, but he
can't
for shit.
I remember last year I bet him at Yankee Stadium to hit a home run. He was like plus 1,200. He missed a home run by like 3 feet. That was so sad. But they lost Margot too, right?
Oh yeah, he's in Minnesota. Yeah,
he's on every day. But yeah, Randy Arozarena has been very good. Who's the other?
Their best hitter has been Isaac Paredes so far.
Yeah,
like, for the most part. I mean, as far as slug, I mean, he's got 6 bombs. And he's hitting 284. I don't know that they even have anybody hitting above 284.
Not Yandy Diaz.
No. They. Yeah. Ahmed Rosario. Okay, but he's hitting 341 with 12 RBIs. So Ahmed Rosario and Isaac Paredes are their best hitters right now. Randy Arozarena is off to a pretty slow start, and then you've got guys like Jose Siri, Harold Ramirez, and it's. I don't know. This team wins with like mid rosters and so it's hard to say that they need to like go. They're like the American League Giants, where they just like put together a lineup and somehow they win a lot of games. And you're like, how the fuck do they do that?
See, the problem with that with them right now though is like I don't know if them going to make a move is worth it because
No, not
I
this year.
don't think
Definitely
they're
not
gonna
this
get
year.
in. Like it does. I think they could get all the players, and they might not get in with the Orioles and the Yankees in that division. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, could they get 3? I don't know. Like,
Well, originally, that's actually a really good point. So, I mean, that last wild card. So,
well, it's not
like
going to be
you,
from the Central. I can tell you that. That's a promise. It's not coming
you
from
know,
the Central
I
unless
don't
it's
know,
the
dude.
Royals and
Think
the
about it.
Guardians.
That's where I was about to go with this. With the Astros, I mean, the Astros were my third, like the last team, right? So you have like Mariners, Rangers, Astros from the West. Those were my 3 from the American League, and then 2 from the or 3 from the West, 2 from the East.
And then
But
one.
the Astros look broken. So like that
It
spot that
might
the
open
Astros
up
would
a
have
spot
had,
for the AL East probably.
probably, yeah, or the Royals would be my guess if they can hang, or if somebody in the center. I mean, I don't think they'll. I don't know. That
Wouldn't
last
that be?
spot's going to be interesting now.
Is it possible to get 4 teams from a division in? Because that would be so cool. The AL
Yeah,
East is
technically, right? Wild cards are just best records.
yeah, that would just be so hard with like the interdivision play still
It would,
taking a
yeah, but
few of the
it's
extra
way
teams.
more possible now because they play less games in division.
Yeah, but they still play more.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
they
if
do.
if it was like evenly spread out, sure, but
Can
like they
you
still
imagine
play
though? Could you
more.
imagine if they still did that? If you got the Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, and Blue Jays all in the playoffs?
No, no, I can't. I don't know if the Royals are going to be able to sneak in though. That'd be
I
fun.
don't think so either. I mean, that's a team that like they have to win the division to get in. For me, anyways, that's how I felt like with the Tigers too. Like if
Well,
there is a
I'm
second
telling
team from
you,
the
it will not
Central,
be the Tigers. They're going to fall apart. Like
I'm
when
leaning that
I
way
said,
too.
like, look out for them in the beginning of the year, I was going under the presumption that like they would hit their body weight, and they're not. So like
You know who their best hitter is right now? You know who I forgot about completely is Mark Canha. Mark Canha's been their best.
oh yeah,
He's been their like best producer. He's got 14 RBIs, 5 bombs. But it's Mark Canha.
yeah, it's a write off from the Mets. You know, the end
And
of
from the Brewers, he didn't do anything when he was here.
yeah,
He was here for a short stretch towards the end of last year and
yeah.
didn't really do anything. I don't know. It's American League's gonna be weird now with the Astros. I mean, obviously it's still April, so I don't want to say that the Astros are like out, but 7-19, like the clock's ticking on them.
Yeah, they got like a month to figure it out. And like not a month to get to 500, a month to go on like a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, like they got to do what the Mariners did in August, basically.
Yeah, and like lose 3-4 games in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to. They got to do it by like mid-May, otherwise they're going to be too far behind. Because like the Rangers,
Then they're gonna deal guys. I mean, they'll deal Hader if they're out of it.
oh yeah, someone will nab them. They'll get a lot for them too.
Yeah. It's gonna be wild in the AL. You got any closing thoughts?
No, this was a long one.
This was
a long show. It was a good show though. We talked a lot of baseball.
well. That's our show, folks. Be sure to find us on Twitter at Overdue Sports, overduesports.com. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell notifications. Check us out everywhere, and we are out of here.